What's up, gang? It's not Friday, it's Monday. Special trip to the office today. Finally hired a new worker. I think he's gonna work out well. Just had lunch with him and Christian and Jared. They all seem to be hitting it off pretty well. I like, again, like I said, need to hit a home run on this one. The guy I hired needs to, really work out since I'll be leaving. I think it's 11 months. End of this month, 11 months and counting. So we're getting close to that point where I'm not going to be making this commute in. The videos will probably be with me going out somewhere, maybe volunteering somewhere, going to jiu-jitsu, doing something fun, right? That's really what the goal is. So it's getting closer and closer. So I had a really nice Father's Day weekend. Saturday, Papa had been talking about wanting to go to Maui and show the grandkids how far his house was from the high school where he was at, right? So we left. Our flight left at 8:45. I think it was 8:45 Hawaiian, and then we got there a little after 9. By the time we got the car and everything was about 10, a little after 10. So first destination was to try to find his old house. Yeah. So we drove out. It was near the sugar mill. So sugar mill, easy to find. Yeah. We drove out to the sugar mill, but all the land for miles and miles away from there was all flat. So pretty much, yeah, that whole campsite just got demolished and it was leveled. So there's really nothing left of the campsite. We did drive around the sugar mill a little bit. Drove around the sugar mill, looked around, looked at a few things. They had an elementary school over there, so that was it's where my auntie went to school. Papa said, yeah, Auntie Doreen went to school over there. She confirmed that too. She went to school there. Cart said, yeah, Dad, I think there's a library over there too. And I think it's like a bookstore. So bookstore over there, selling books out of that place. So that was pretty cool. We got to see that. After that, we went to go look for Papa's high school. So I just did a quick Google search on Maui High School and pulled up the new high school, the original, not the second Maui High School. So that was near Kahului, the main town. And of course, Papa said it's not the one. Of course, it wasn't the one. So had Cart look it up. Cart looked it up. So it was actually over in Paia town, and we drove out there. I think it probably took us about 20-25 minutes. So Paia town, I guess it was like an old style town, some small businesses. We drove through the town area. We didn't stop, but we just drove through there and along the ocean, and we actually passed a restaurant that Danny and I had gone to probably 30 years or so, maybe a little more than 30 years ago. I was surprised it was still standing. I mentioned that restaurant to one of the guys at the office. He said, oh, that place is famous. So yeah, I remember Mama's Fish House. It was we had a dinner. I think it's back in the Zentech days when I used to work with Danny. We did a job out in Maui. So we had a nice dinner out there. So drove past there, and then we're going, and the cart said, oh yeah, okay, Dad, here, turn over here. So it's kind of like a unpaved road, yeah. So I asked Papa, is this the place? He goes, I think so. So we drive up the road, right? Start to see like abandoned strip cars, rusted, a few here and there, right? As we go further up the street, then we start to see like homeless guys, like how the cars are 2 or 3 cars lined up with Hawaiian flags, and you can see stuff on the outside, so they were living there. And Paz was just like kind of losing her mind, like, oh, she's getting kind of worried, like, oh, let's turn around. But of course, cars like, what they gonna do? We stay in our car, which is kind of true. But I said, yeah, we never get to see what Papa wanted yet. So I said, okay, let's just try to go a little bit further. So we drove up, and fortunately, we saw the school. So the school was remnants of the school. Interestingly, behind the remnants, you could see newer buildings and cars. So I wasn't sure what that was. We never really went back there, but you could see like the shell of the admin building, Papa said, and then we could see a set of stairs, and Papa said that was where like they did their graduation and basketball games. So it must have been like a gym or something, but that whole building was gone. So it was interesting. It's funny because there was, like a little fence around, says no trespassing. But of course the kids went in to look, took some pictures of some signs and stuff, and then Papa, he wanted to go in there. Like he was lifting his leg, and like me and Cart was gonna try to carry him, but then Pa said no, it's too dangerous. So we never let him go inside. He wanted to go inside, but we never. It was kind of dangerous in a sense, like, because if the wood was maybe 3.5 feet high, so to get him over and back was kind of risky. I mean, he actually was going to try to crawl underneath. It's like no. So he took some pictures. He got to tell us some stories about where what some of the buildings were and all of that other stuff. He had some memories about things back there. Yeah, so it was nice. You could see that in his eyes. He was kind of like reliving his youth almost, 90 years old. And I asked him, have you been back here since you finished high school? He said no. So I mean, you're literally talking what, 70-ish years? I mean, that's a long time. We looked at the sign for the school, and I think it was in use till 1972. So it's been shut down for what, 50 some years. So it was a really nice time that we had out there. Then we went to the graveyard to go see put flowers for his mom and his dad, one of my cousins, and then my auntie, my dad's sister that's still alive, came down and met us. And then she lived maybe 10 minutes away from the graveyard. So she lives in a really nice house. Like I was kind of saying, it kind of looks like Royal Summit on Oahu. It's really nice houses, big, on a hill. Yeah. So Dad also got to share some stories there with the kids, and even my auntie shared some of her memories. So it was a nice time. It was a really nice time for all of us. Yeah. After that, we went and we had some boba, ice cream, some dessert. We found a food trucks area, so we did that. And then we went off to the airport and we flew back. So that in on itself would have been a full day, right? But my friend Tang had a surprise birthday party for Julie. Tang's really a really good friend of mine, so it's like there's no way that I would miss the party, right? But I mean, we were tired, but I think we got there about 7:30, and then we didn't leave till like 10:30. So sports box, it's kind of cool, like not virtual reality, kind of like a virtual reality in a sense, but like projector and like simulating playing baseball, soccer, a few other games. Sorry about that. The fog made me a little thirsty. Anyway, we were there till about 10:30 that night. Came home. I was tired. Next morning was church. Oh, I had a hard time getting out of bed. It was a little challenging, but gotta go to church, right? And we're luckily, we're supposed to have a session, but everybody canceled out. So Caleb and Emmy came over and spent the afternoon with us, which was nice. I mean, even though we're not interacting with them 100% of the time, just having the kids at the house, such a good feeling, yeah. And they stayed for a bit. Then we went over to have dinner at Mom and Dad's, and Dad, I wouldn't say he gave a speech, but thanked everybody. He had a really good time. Um, it was a nice dinner. I recorded a lot of it and made a video of the trip and that Father's Day dinner. So posted it to this channel too. So it was really nice. It's kind of it's kind of hard, as you age and your parents age. At some point it's come to an end, right? But I think the thing that you need to focus more on is not the end, but it's the journey, right? The process. They're still around. Make sure that you tell them you love them, and you can cherish the moments that you spent together, right? Life's too short to be angry at people, to hold a grudge, to argue. I mean, it doesn't make any sense, right? Before you know it, all the sand is out of the hourglass, and you're looking around going, where did the time go? Why was I so mad? Why didn't I say I loved you more? And instead of just arguing, right? It's just so sad. I think people sometimes get kind of too caught up in their own little worlds and forget what's really important. Yeah. Like I always say, when you were a baby, I mean, shoot, you couldn't fend for yourself. You couldn't make your own food. You couldn't change your own clothes. You couldn't do nothing. You had to rely on somebody, whether it's your parents, your foster parents, your Hanai parents. Somebody was taking care of you. So you got to make sure that those people that did that for you when you were young, when they age, you're there for them, right? Because now they're having a hard time doing things. They need your support, right? So yeah, I felt good. I was tired, but hey, it was worth every second we spent there, right? We had fun. Dad had fun. You could see in his eyes reliving his youth. It was a really awesome time for us. Yeah, there's the kind of things where you can't buy that type of feeling, right? No matter how much money you have, right? And Dad said, what we need money for? You can't take it with you. It's just money. And like he said, you never know what tomorrow brings. So hopefully there's many more tomorrows, but just never take them for granted, yeah? So we're continuing on our jiu-jitsu journey. Yeah, we still haven't figured out what we're gonna do. I mean, I'm thinking I'm probably gonna have to approach the parents and just kind of let them know, hey, if I'm not gonna force them, but I'm just basically gonna say, hey, understand you guys are at UFC, training under UFC. The head coach at UFC is Chris. I know that, I'm not trying to put you in an awkward position to tell you guys to choose. So, if you don't want to choose, then I'll kind of make the choice for you, and we're just gonna kind of start to fall to the wayside, right? If you want us to coach your kids, we need to be able to be the ones influencing them and telling them what to do at the tournament, right? I don't want the kids to get confused and all of that. We love the kids, right? I mean, if they have parties and whatever, we'll be part of it, but just training in two different mindsets and two different coaches and all that, it's just getting a little too difficult. Yeah, I don't think we're gonna open our own school. It's just too much of a risk. Yeah, it's too big of a gamble. I think just kind of coaching at someone else's school, I think that's the way we're gonna go. And if it turns into something bigger, it turns into something bigger. That's all fine and well, but we're just kind of enjoying it. I do enjoy the extra training time Carter and I have with the drilling and the practicing, right? Like, usually when we go to class, I don't really like to go with him because, it's I don't know, whatever. But when we're at the house, it's just me and him. It's different, yeah. There's no other eyes. Not trying to go hard. There's no other judgments. It's just me and him. So I think we've already done 2 or 3 sessions at the house. So that was fun. Just past drills. That's something that I enjoy. Right? I'm trying to sharpen that part of it up. Right? So I know if I can handle 80% of cart, there's no 60-year-old that can match what Cart does. So he's a good measuring stick, right? He doesn't go 100 against me anymore. He knows it doesn't make sense to go that hard with me. But he'll probably give 75, 80%, and I do pretty good against him. So I'm feeling good about my jiu-jitsu, getting ready. I think we're about 2 months out. So trying to figure out how hard I push for my prep, right? I'm pretty confident already in my technique and what I do. It's not a dramatic change from what I did last year, right? I think I've sharpened up a few areas, the control and that type of stuff. But at our age, no one's gonna do bare bolos, no one's gonna do flying knee cuts, no was doing any of that fancy stuff. A lot of it's just slow, on your knees, passing, stuff that I know how to do, that I'm comfortable with. So whatever it is, right? I'll do my best, prepare as hard as I can, and just give it everything I got. So, all right, guys. Appreciate you guys hanging in there. Future Rob, when you watch this, remember you had such an awesome feeling in Maui, and you are getting ready for Masters. All right.